Brendan Fraser to return for The Mummy 4? Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how Brendan Fraser will return for The Mummy 4. Let's get right into it. Brendan Fraser opens up about a potential Mummy 4 movie franchise comeback. Fraser made a name for himself in smaller comedy productions like Encino Man and Airheads before becoming a leading action star. However, following the success of the 1997 cult classic George of the Jungle, director Stephen Sommers cast Fraser as Rick O'Connell in the swashbuckling action-adventure film The Mummy, launching Fraser into Hollywood stardom. Fraser returned to the role in two sequels, The Mummy Returns in 2001 and The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in 2008. Following that third installment, there was a failed reboot in 2017 starring Tom Cruise, which was a box office flop. As the Mummy franchise winds down, Fraser's career is reviving, most notably with his critically acclaimed performance in The Whale. While Fraser is on the mend and legacy sequels becoming a popular Hollywood trend, some wonder if Fraser will return to Rick O'Connell. Fraser opens up with Variety about the possibility of a Mummy 4 movie return. The actor wasn't sure how a Mummy reboot would work, but he seemed open to the idea. He said, "I don't know how it would work, but I'd be open to it if someone came up with the right conceit." Unfortunately, Fraser does not elaborate on his concerns or the right concept for The Mummy 4. However, later in the Variety interview, when discussing Universal's 2017 reboot, he alludes to the difficulties and successes of his previous entries, which could ultimately be what a Mummy 4 needs to attract the actor and audiences. According to Fraser, Cruise's Mummy lacked the fun, thrilling action elements that the Mummy films from the 2000s had in spades. As a result, a Mummy 4 should most likely recapture the exciting and adventurous tones that made Fraser's entries such a satisfying viewing experience for audiences. Meanwhile, according to Brendan Fraser, his version of The Mummy was exciting, scary, and a lot of thrilling fun. And while Universal was attempting to create something akin to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they forgot the simple principle that audiences like to have fun, even if they are scared. Although many people criticize Marvel Studios' approach to filmmaking, there is no denying that any release that is part of Marvel Studios' magnum opus is almost certain to be a box office success. Tom Cruise may have gained a lot of love at the box office this year by starring in Top Gun: Maverick, which became the year's biggest movie and is among the highest grossing films of all time, and his upcoming duo of Mission Impossible movies are also expected to give the star some healthy returns. But The Mummy proved that even the pull of an icon like Cruise can't guarantee success if the audiences aren't on board. The Mummy's interpretation by director Stephen Sommers made more sense by casting its hero, Rick O'Connell, as an Indiana Jones type. The film is set in 1926, roughly a decade before the first three Indiana Jones films. With the exception of a few exposition-heavy flashbacks, the new Mummy, directed by Alex Kurtzman, takes place primarily in the present day. The spirit evinced by the Indiana Jones films, on the other hand, is difficult to replicate in the present. As a result, another full-fledged Indiana Jones-style version of The Mummy may have been impossible. However, the new film makes sporadic attempts to emulate Steven Spielberg's films. Cruise plays Nick Morton, a former soldier turned treasure hunter, who is the antithesis of Harrison Ford's hero. He has a push-pull relationship with archaeologist Jenny Halsey that is reminiscent of Indiana Jones' failed romance in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Nick and Jenny, like in the 1989 film, end up in an overturned tomb with only a few inches of breathable air beneath a vast ocean of water at one point. Nick's friendship with his fellow soldier of fortune, Chris, is reminiscent not only of Indy and his trusty sidekick, Salah, but also of Rick O'Connell's tumultuous relationship with the shady Benny in the 99 Mummy. As a result, this new Mummy contains elements of the Indiana Jones films, as well as elements of the 1999 Mummy. The Mummy's roaring face appearing at the front of a massive sandstorm is a memorable image that is repeated here. This new Mummy exists primarily to spin a thrilling adventure yarn, rather than to embrace the 1932 original's old-school horror. This Mummy, on the other hand, is all about expanding the Dark Universe, a shared universe of characters. After the Universal Pictures logo, the Dark Universe logo appears on the big screen for the first time. Leading into a narration from Russell Crowe as Dr. Henry Jekyll, this serves as a statement of purpose far from any of Cruise's daring do could. While Fraser is open to returning for a fourth Mummy film, the actor has changed dramatically since his last appearance as O'Connell in 2008. He has nearly 15 years on the clock and has had numerous surgeries to address his stunt-related injuries in the early Mummy films. So the actor may no longer be able to engage in the same kinds of intense action sequences. Stars like Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones, Bruce Willis in Die Hard, and Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator, on the other hand, demonstrated that older action stars can still pull off modern genre entries. Following those trends, a proper Fraser return to the Mummy franchise would most likely involve the actor taking only minor risks with stunt work and passing the torch to a younger generation. Nonetheless, audiences would undoubtedly welcome O'Connell's return to the big screen. That's all for today, and we'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.